Chrissy B Show, and we've got a really nice treat for you today because we have acting duo twins Mehmet and Erdo talking about their success, and also we have a fitness tip from Jane Wrafter. Dr. Krause will be giving expert advice through Skype on sibling rivalry and the ups and downs of being a twin, and I'll also be answering a question from a viewer. But first of all, I'd like to introduce you to the lovely Rihanna, which you haven't seen for a while. Hello, Rihanna.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good.
Where have you been? I know we've had a few bank holidays, and I was away for a week and a half, and now I'm back.
Yeah.
But I've missed you.
Oh, really? Touched. Holding back tears, and I'm back.
Now, before we get to the news, because I know, for example, because I know you also personally, not just professionally.
Yeah.
And you had some quite serious issues with your own sister, didn't you?
Yes,
Can you tell us a bit about that before we get to the news?
Well, how can I put it straight? I hated her. I didn't like her.
That's a
I really did. You know, you never know what hate is until you kind of feel it, if I can say. I just thought that she was against me and everything.
Why?
Everything was about her, and I was just like tossed. I felt like the black sheep of the family. I don't know if that's the real word, but it is, isn't it? That's how I felt. Everything was about her. All the attention went to her. It skipped to me, went to my younger sister. Yeah, in a sense I was, because I kind of wanted that attention. I craved it. I was, you know, straight A's. I was such a good student, but nobody paid attention to me.
Aww. And
it really upset me. And she would mess up and she'd do all these crazy things, but you know, she was there in the limelight, and I was like, do I have to behave badly to get the same kind of attention?
Did you start behaving badly?
Kind of, but I just couldn't hold up the bad girl look. I'm a good girl, you see. I did try, but most of my bad girl stuff kind of ended up being on her. I kind of beat her up.
Really?
Yeah, not on my own, because she like sliced me up. But I had my cousin join me, and we just kind of jumped on her.
Gosh. Did you not like have any sort of tender feelings for her at all? Was it really like you really wanted to see her?
I just disliked her. I just wanted it to be less about her and a bit more about me as well. It wasn't nice, I know, but at the time it just felt like it was normal.
But obviously it's not the case anymore, because you two are really close now, aren't you?
Yeah, it's
so
weird,
how is it now? How's the relationship
now? We're really sisters. We're like busy mates, if I can say. We talk all the time. I make her laugh. I don't know how, but you know, people say my jokes are pretty dry, but she laughs at them all the time.
Yeah.
We're really close now. It's weird because when I tell people this is how we were before, they never believe it. They really don't.
And it didn't just like sort of change from one day to the next day, because you actually got professional counselling and like you got help and everything like that. So I mean, it is possible to get along with someone that you
it really is.
disliked.
It's not impossible. I think the main thing is that you need to look at yourself to find out why do you dislike that person so much, because they don't know why you dislike them. So the problem's not really with them, it's within you. You just need to figure out what it is.
Were you insecure then, like, would you say?
Yeah. I guess I wanted to have that sister bond with her, because all of our friends, they had sisters and they were so close, and I just felt a bit jealous. Why am I not close with my sister like that? Yeah. Why do we have to fight and all of this? So the insecurity, the jealousy, and the wanting to have that close-knit relationship.
I wish I had a picture of your sister.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't think to bring one on, did we? Oh, never mind.
But she's lovely, really. She's a lovely gal.
She's on TV too, isn't she?
Yeah. She walks into a room and everything just becomes bright. So
I would say that about you as well, Macy.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I was really shy, you know, reserved.
Well, she's a little bit more, because I know Sandra, her sister as well. She's quite bubbly and crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy. I'm reserved, but you know, people say I'm not shy at all. But
no,
I don't think so.
But anyway, enough talking about you getting the limelight. Let's have the news now.
Yeah. Well, something interesting. There, you know, we have those Boris bikes.
Yeah. Have you ever tried them?
No, I don't know how. Like, it's not like a normal bike, is it? Or is it? I don't know.
Guaranteed every show she's going to come on here and say something really...
But is it like
a bike? Of course it's a bike.
Okay,
yeah,
but it's
not an exercise bike, is it?
No, I just thought it's like, it does look like an exercise bike though. It looks like it doesn't go anywhere. It's not the same as a bike, but it is a bike. But anywho, it's not about the Boris bikes. There is a designer who wants to do the same thing with buggies. Now, when you're trying to get on the bus during rush hour, you have, you know, the bus is packed. There's no way you're going to get a buggy on there. And sometimes it's really hard because mums want to go out with their kids. They, you know, they want to have some fun, get some air, but getting the buggy is just difficult. And there's sometimes you want to try and move places in the rush hour, you just get knocked out. So this designer has decided to make like a prototype. same version like Boris bikes, but with buggies. So you come out of your house, you carry your child in a sling. It's a sling, right?
Yeah.
And then when you get to the location, you can just take one of the Boris buggies, if I can say, put your cuddly in, and then, you know, go about your business. Once you're done, put the buggy back, and then you're on your way. So you're not suffering trying to get on the bus because there's too many buggies. So I don't know, it makes life kind of easier for mothers. Or
I don't know, I'm just thinking about that one, doesn't it? Because if you need to you need a buggy to carry your child from your door from the door of your house out, right?
But we also have slings.
Yeah, but there's some children are really heavy. I don't know if you've ever picked up a child that looks... I shouldn't say that anyway, but weighs a ton of bricks. They do. Like,
yeah, but then again, if we think about it, it's useful. It can be very
I just
useful.
can't imagine all these buggies being parked everywhere because I think they'll be a bit of an eyesore, really.
Yeah, but you see, you don't get eyesore with Boris bikes.
Well, because they're nice and straight and neat and tidy, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's the same thing. It's going to be like a
I don't know.
parked cars for buggies.
I don't know if it will take off, really.
Yeah, I mean, for London, it will take time. It hasn't set off yet, but it's just a prototype that he's trying out. So it looks like a good idea at the time.
Okay.
So,
all right, what else do we have?
We also have, right, I don't really know how to say this, but you know how with science they're always trying to do something to kind of help those that have amputated legs and all sorts, and there's never really been anything for those who kind of had their arms amputated. So now there's like a robot arm capable of picking up delicate things, so it makes it easier, because before it's really easy to make something for the legs and all of that. You don't need so much, how can I say, thought into it. But when it comes to the hands, there's so much bones and movements that
you use your hands a lot more. Like you don't use your toes so much.
No, so it's easy to make something for the toes. But then for the hands, there hasn't really been any kind of breakthrough until now. It's a new scientific development, and it's really helpful for those that have had their hands amputated. Brilliant. So it makes it easy for them to pick up stuff, get dressed, open the door, and I think that is a really brilliant idea. It's such a breakthrough because we've never had anything like that, and everything that they've had before. It goes back to theories that are like 100 years old, but nothing has ever broken through for that.
Things that we take for granted, even just sort of doing up a button on a shirt.
Yeah, and you get frustrated, you're like, don't want to do it.
It's really hard to do that with one hand.
So hearing this kind of news, I think it's fantastic.
Brilliant.
I mean, I actually love it. You know, it would be really cool. So they've had a lot of veterans try it out, and it's been really, really successful, starting off in the US. So we know it's going to come to the UK very soon. So watch out for that hand.
Okay.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Okay.
And I think this one's really interesting. This is the first family with 3 generations of adoption. Now, there is a lovely woman called Karen, and her father was adopted, and then he adopted her, and now her and her partner have also adopted a little girl, and they've had her for 2 years, and they say that it's the most wonderful thing that's ever happened to them. I mean, you don't hear stories like this, 3 generations of adoption. I don't know what to say. I think amazing just seems like a simple word for me now. It's just lovely, you know, you get people that really...
People do have this sort of, or some parents, they have this thing about, I mean, like adoption doesn't seem to be like a very popular choice for a lot of people, but, you know, I think there's a bit of an obsession with having your own child with your own, you know, blood and stuff, your own genes and everything. But I think it's just so lovely to adopt children, because there's so many out there that really need help, they really need a home. Yeah,
and just bringing another one out when there's already one there.
I have a few friends actually that have adopted children. They've got like, some have got their own kids and then they adopted, and others they don't have their own. They decided not to have any of their own and just adopted instead, which I think is really lovely.
It is really lovely. It gives another human being hope, I can say. I mean, it's not their fault they ended up in that situation, so to adopt them is a lovely thing. It's very generous though. So
although it does come with its difficulties as well, because a lot of those kids have got baggage as well.
Yeah.
If they're a bit older. But
So
you know, it takes a really special person to adopt, I think.
It really does. I mean, Karen's dad adopted her, and she, you know, became such a great person that she decided to do the same.
That's lovely.
Regardless of the baggage, there are some baggages that are very challenging, but then there are also others that you can kind of manage with.
Yeah. Okay, Rihanna, you're going to stay with us because I think you've got one more news article, haven't you, which we'll save for the end of the show, so don't go away. And after the break, I'll be joined by identical twins who formed an acting duo and used their twin connection as a positive in their life and career. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show. always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, before we meet our identical twins, let's take a look at the success story.
Hello and welcome to one of the most famous hair salons in London, belonging to Dean Ongley. Dean is a royal hairdresser and has worked with celebrities all his life. So today, our success story is really talking about how has he kept going all these years and what's the real secrets of his success. So this is the latest story in Chrissy B 203.
Having worked in Belgravia, South Kensington and now Mayfair, all the exquisite, fashionable and wealthy influential areas in London, fashion drove me as a youngster to want to stay in London and work in London, and being involved from Belgravia becoming an experienced stylist into South Kensington, where it was slightly more intimate as being a village area. It was very trendy, very on the edge, and now back into the heart of Mayfair, right on top of Bond Street, and London's having a new insurgence of fashion again, like it did when I first started, which was in the 80s, with the changing from punk music into the flamboyant young romantics. It was all going on. London was the centre, and I think it always has been the hub. It always changes. Hairdressing is more of a vocation of a business and industry. You've got to really, really want to do it well, spend that extra time. It is hard, but you know, nothing comes easy, and I was fortunate enough to work in great salons with great people that actually each day told me this is worth doing, keep at it. I mean, all my friends were going out to nightclubs. I couldn't afford that because of my input into getting to work and wanting to do it, but it drove me to want to learn quicker and get on the floor.
Oh my God, that looks amazing.
My success is down to the pure devotion, the hours, the time, the energy I put into it. It wasn't all down, it wasn't always hard going. There was some great times, great moments, but at the end of the day, if you put in that time, you put in that effort, you will get the rewards and get the success I have shared.
Well, wasn't that another fabulous story, another great success story for our series? Isn't Dean marvellous? Look at the style of hair that he actually created. I love it. Okay, so this is Ian Pelham-Turner for Sky 203, the Chrissy B Show, saying goodbye again for now.
Thank you very much, Ian. So to introduce our guest, let's take a look at this video.
I'm Mehmet and I'm 23 years old. And I'm Erdo, I'm 23 also, and I live in London. I'm Mehmet's twin brother. When they see us for the first time, they're really amazed, like, wow, look at those twins. I just love being a twin. I love the feeling of being a twin. You could be on a train or you could go in or walk down the street and you'll see people looking at us and they smile, like they get really happy. So it's a good feeling to give to someone else, like, because they've seen twins.
And here they are with me, Mehmet and Erdo. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Now, I've just about managed to tell them apart just because of a little mole on your face, Erdo. Although you've got one as well, Mehmet, but it's on the other side. So it is a little bit confusing, but I'm starting to tell you apart now. Okay, so first of all, tell us, what is it like to be identical twins?
It's amazing. I don't really know how to explain it. I would be lost without my twins, so something that I've been used to all my life.
Yeah.
It's just basically having a best friend and someone who you do everything with, and someone who you trust 100%.
And someone who you can rely on as well, 100%.
Yeah. Now, when growing up, when you were both young, you're only 23 now, aren't you? Yeah. But when you were younger, a lot younger, did you have sort of any sort of difficulties with one another, like arguments and stuff like that?
Maybe it was just normal arguments, but we just argued over silly little things, really. because we always share the same room as well. So we got to spend a lot of time together. So maybe it was due to that for why we was arguing sometimes.
I think most youngsters do, don't they? Most siblings. Now, I have to ask you, why do you dress the same? Because I noticed in your video you were dressed the same, and like you're dressed the same today. Is that something that you plan and stuff, or is it why don't do you ever dress differently, or is this? Is it
We always dress the same, really. We're used to it now.
Why?
Since we were young, my mum always dressed us the same. So in all our photos, looking back, we've always been dressed the same. So we're used to it, and we enjoy it as well. We like it.
Why do you like it though? Because a lot of people would say, look, you know what, I want to stand out. I don't want to be the same as someone else. But you're quite like, you're okay with it. Why is that?
No, because at the end they were twins, so why should we hide that away? Obviously, sometimes when we walk out on the street and we're dressed the same, it's like it really brightens up some of the public's faces. That it makes them happy.
Well, how do they react to you?
Well, some people don't ever get to see twins, so when they see twins, they're like, wow, wow, oh my God.
Which was the reaction of our newsreader, Rihanna, over there. So they able to like, twins! She was so
and they say as well, we're identical as well. They don't really get to see identical twins.
Yeah, it's quite rare, isn't it, to see that. So it makes you happy to sort of brighten up someone's day. Now, what would you say then to people that don't get along with their siblings? Because it's not a nice thing. It's great that the two of you get along.
Yeah, obviously I can't speak on behalf of everyone out there because I don't know everyone, but I think it really relates to their upbringings and maybe some people's gone through, parents has gone through divorce and the kids had to go through that. I think you can't just blame someone for why they argue. There's always a reason behind it. So therefore I think it does maybe help if someone went and saw their doctor and had a family counsellor or
that's true.
something in that to see if they could do something as a family to support everyone.
Because there is always hope, isn't it? As Rihanna was saying, that her and her sister really didn't get along and now they get on really well. But now tell us about your acting. How did that all start? Is that something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, from being really young, we was always inspired in the media, in the performing side. But we never knew how to go about it really. We didn't know how to basically get into the industry.
I just wanted to interrupt you because I feel like you skipped. Well, when we was younger, we always do performances for all the family when they used to come.
What kind of performance? Like singing or
comedy.
Okay.
So we'll just make everything up there and then and just start doing comedy. And every time the family used to come in, they pull the sofas in the living room, put it to the side and just give us a big stage really. And
but that's a Mediterranean thing, isn't it? Like when the kids just get so much attention and you've got to perform for families.
And then we just used to start running around with like cameras and lights, pretend that we're like reporters, and it's just something, it's been in us since we were younger. So as we got older, we thought we've got to take this step now and see what we could do. So here we are now.
So what are you doing now, acting-wise?
Well, mainly doing film work now. So we're basically featuring in some films with major Hollywood stars and Bollywood stars. We recently done something with Chrissy B Show, which will be in the cinemas in 2015. We was featured along with him.
Doing what? Can you
we're not really allowed to talk about too much.
All right, you can tell me later then.
All right. But we just basically done a scene with him to make his scene look even more better. So
maybe to spice it up. Well, I feel like we've been really lucky. We got to work with Jason Statham as well, which that's already been released.
And it's an actor we've always watched from young. And
what's that like for you, like to meet all these people? And,
well, basically, we get really happy and nervous as well. Like we don't know what to do sometimes. We're just like speechless.
I bet people are looking at you too as well, like,
Because usually what happens when we go on set, our agent would say, don't approach any of the big stars.
Because it's unprofessional really, and then their agency will look bad that we're unprofessional.
Yeah.
So,
but do you go up to them?
Yeah, but they come and approach us.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's even better.
They should ask for your autographs as well, right? Do they take pictures with you?
Yeah.
So what's that like for you then, sort of mixing with these kind of people?
Well, I think it's just a blessing really, because obviously we haven't got here by going to private drama schools or anything. We literally did start from the bottom.
We started from nothing really. We had no one behind us. We had no one to ask for advice. So we
had
just
to learn
learned everything,
everything.
and we're still learning today, really.
What's been the hardest thing for you, do you think, in all of this?
I think the hardest things is like going to an audition, but you're waiting to hear back for 3 or 4 months sometimes.
Wow.
So basically your life's on hold for 4 months until you hear, have you got the job or not? And the other thing is you can't book future work either in case you've got that job.
Oh, gosh. Oh, didn't
So
know that, yeah.
it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit difficult
And
sometimes.
I think the most difficult thing about it is the becoming stable, and it's just quite difficult because at times everything could be okay and then a month you might not be working, so that's the difficult.
But you have something to fall back on. Did you study anything else? Or
Yeah,
like...
well, I went and studied a bit of science and health and social care.
So you got something to...
Yeah, but I don't ever wish or hope to actually fall back on that because I believe I'm living my dream now. And
Good for you. That's brilliant.
And I just want to give advice to anyone out there who wants to follow their dreams is if you want to do something, you do it. You don't take advice of no one, not even a family member.
Yeah,
if you want to do it, you do it and you'll get really far.
Yeah,
that's what I
definitely.
believe.
You're going to stay with us because we're going to go to a
Okay.
quick break because I want to talk to you more, and also we're going to be speaking to a lovely Dr. Krause after the break as well. And she's going to be telling us a bit about why some siblings don't get along. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Hello and welcome back. Now, before I continue speaking to our twins, Mehmet and Erdo, and also we'll be speaking to Dr. Krause in just a moment, let's take a look at this fitness tip with Jane Wrafter.
Hi everyone, I'm Jane. Welcome to your fitness top tips. Today I want to talk to you about back strength. So many people suffer from weak backs and back pain, and it's really important that you keep your back healthy. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things. One is flexibility, because actually getting your back moving is really good for your lower back, and also strengthening the muscles that support your spine. Okay, so a really simple exercise you can do every day, and it's not difficult, and it's really good for your back, is a simple cat stretch. So all you need to do is put your hands and knees on the floor, and then you curl through your back and give your back a really good stretch. Tighten here in your tummy, let your chin go into your chest, let your tailbone tuck right underneath so you can see that my back is getting a really nice stretch there, and then lift, nice deep breath, and curl through. And if you did several of these every day, especially if your back is aching after a long day at work or a long car journey, these can really help you ease off any back pain that you've got. They're really good for you. Another exercise that you can do is to strengthen the back muscles. So what we were doing then was stretching them. What I'm going to show you now is to strengthen. So if you put your hands on the floor like this and have your elbows in line with your shoulders, and then float your chest up and just feel these muscles here start to work. Try and keep your chin tucked in and your shoulders drawn down your back. So I'll just show you what it shouldn't look like that. Okay, so you want shoulders down, chin down. So you lift and lower like this. And if you want to strengthen the muscles in your upper back as well, you can, when you're up, float your arms and squeeze the shoulder blades together. This is a great exercise for posture as well as your back. It really helps to draw the shoulders back and down. Now, if that's too much for your lower back, you can pop your head down on the floor and then just lift your arms and strengthen your upper back. So I really hope those are helpful to you. Have a go at them if you have any back pain at all, and I'll see you next time.
So thank you very much to the lovely Jane. So now we were talking at the beginning of the show with Rihanna about sibling rivalry, and personally I find it quite strange when brothers and sisters don't get along. And though I felt a little bit insecure growing up because my older sister, she's very bubbly and funny, and like a lot of people, she used to get quite a lot of attention, whereas I was very quiet when I was young. But I never hated her. I always wanted the best for her. I wasn't like jealous of her. I just wanted to be like her. And I think that's a big difference. And I don't understand really why brothers and sisters dislike one another. It's something that I can't get my head around. So we're going to speak now to Dr. Krause to get a bit of insight into this. Dr. Krause, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Thanks for joining us again.
Yes,
We'd love to have your expert opinion. So as I was saying, I don't really understand when brothers and sisters don't get along, because, you know, I love my sister so much and I want her to have the best and to be happy. So why is it that some brothers and sisters near enough hate each other, as Rihanna was saying at the beginning of the programme?
Yes. Well, brothers and sisters, or sisters and sisters, share something very special, which is that they share the same genetic makeup, which means that biologically they're very similar, which should actually mean that you get on much better, because the more alike you are, the easier it is to get on.
Yeah.
But of course, psychologically, what happens is that, you know, as we grow up, we all search to form our own independent identities. And sometimes in that kind of process of establishing an identity and also wanting to be independent, we can start to become competitive.
Right.
Now, competition in itself isn't a bad thing. Healthy competition actually is extremely good, because it helps us to learn about ourselves, about our strengths. But sometimes, particularly between brothers and sisters, if you've got different temperaments, or perhaps if you feel that you haven't been fairly treated, perhaps, then what can happen is that you can have unhealthy competition, and that's brothers and sisters, or sisters and sisters, or brothers and brothers don't get on. And I think the most important thing is to sort of have a look at yourself and think, actually, is this actually about our relationship, or is this about ourselves? Because often, if your self-esteem is low, or if you find it hard to share, then those are the sorts of elements in yourself that can contribute to not getting on in a relationship.
Now, is this common with twins as well? Because talking to Mehmet and Erdo over here, they dress the same. It's like they want to look exactly the same, and they don't seem to have this like identity crisis.
Yes. Twins, of course, have something even more special, which is that they're even more alike biologically. But it does seem as though somehow twins can often share an identity, although sometimes when I work with twins in my clinical practice, they say, well, we sometimes get a little bit tired of being treated as one. And so sometimes twins can also strike out in wanting to be different or independent. But it does seem as though there is a huge bond, which is very difficult to explain, that exists between twins, which means that they're happy to share in their similarities.
Which is definitely
it's an amazing
case. And also, any advice that you could give for maybe siblings that aren't getting along very well?
Well, I'd say, look beyond the differences and really try and look at the similarities. Try and look at what connects you. You will have the same shared experiences. You'll actually be quite alike, and rather than being threatened by what's alike, try and enjoy it, because you will be able to learn from each other.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Dr. Krause. Brilliant talking to you again. Thank you. Okay, so you have no problem with people seeing you as one? Do people see you as one, though? I don't know if that's your case.
Maybe strangers, but not our friends and family.
Yeah. What are your differences then? Obviously, not with the looks, but...
He's a bit more grumpy than me.
Go, you can get your own back now.
He's a bit more moany than me, and he's more demanding.
Yeah.
He like bosses me about a lot.
Does he?
Yeah.
What about you? What would you say? Differences between you?
I'm not really sure of the differences, really.
They sound exactly alike as well. It's just amazing.
It depends what mood we're in. If we're not in the same mood, then also there is going to be differences, but we're usually always in the same mood, so it's going to be the same.
Yeah. Do you have that thing going on, when you're maybe like in different places and like, does that happen to you?
Well, we've recently done a study at the Twins department. It's in London, and we do a lot of research with scientists mainly from America. And we done a little test, and it came up was telepathic twins, where they just had some shapes and things, but we wasn't allowed to know which shape we chose. So he couldn't tell me and I couldn't tell him. And then they just made us randomly say out these shapes, and then we was keep getting it right.
Wow, that must be so weird.
Another thing as well, when we was quite younger, he went to the beach to Margate with my uncle and some siblings. Well, anyway, my sister was with Mehmet, and they phoned my mum up saying that he's being sick in the car. Well, my mum said, well, I'm being sick at home.
God, you hear so much of that, don't you, with
yeah,
twins?
but that was quite strange when that happened.
Gosh, that's weird. So you definitely got a connection beyond what people understand, right? Which is lovely.
We could also sometimes speak to each other without verbally speaking, so we could just look at each other and we could communicate.
You know what each other's thinking. Well, that happens with my husband. I think sometimes that comes from just knowing someone so well that even like a little look, you just know what each other's thinking, which is really nice. But let's talk about your future plans now. What are your dreams, your goals for the future?
Well, my dream is, well, our dream, should I say, not mine.
You're quite chatty. You're quite talkative compared to.
I'll say our dream is to be successful actors, really.
Yeah. Well, what kind of, like big films?
Yeah, film actors.
Yeah.
But to be 100% true, I can't say what my future's going to be because I could get a dream phone call tomorrow, or you never know what's going to happen. So I just try and pray to God and try and get through and try and not get stressed. So obviously this is a very demanding industry where you can suffer with serious depression. And
this is the thing, because obviously, you know, I do believe you're going to make it big, because I can see that you've got ambition and you've got dreams and you're really going for it.
Thank
but
you.
how are you going to keep yourself grounded? Because I think that's really important. Because I wrote something actually on my blog recently about how there are people that as soon as they get really successful, it's like they change as a person, and they're not grounded anymore. They start to sort of mistreat people, and they think that. How are you two going to keep yourselves grounded?
To be honest,
I believe that I'm going to become even a better person than what I am today. It's because I haven't grown up in a rich life, or like my parents were working class people, but were not really successful or anything as a family, so we knew, like, as kids, we knew.
They're really successful to bring you two up, right? They've done a really good job.
Like, as kids, like, if we wanted something, we would have to wait. Like, we couldn't just say, oh, we want a new pair of trainers and we would get it. That weren't the case. So we know how to appreciate what we have
and have respect for what we've got as well.
Do you want to give a shout out to anyone while you're here? You want to say hi to your mum, to your parents, or even have a shout? Which camera?
Hi, Mum.
Hello, Mum.
Anyone when you want to thank for anything?
I could thank my mum.
You might as well practice and get an Oscar now for the future, right?
Well, basically, I would like to thank all my agents, really, for getting us these jobs and for them believing in us
and not just
put us forward.
It's not just that, because my main rock was my mum, because if I didn't go to my mum one day and tell her this is what I want to do, and she didn't believe in me and took the first step, and she's our main supporter, is our mum, because whatever we want to do, she'll be happy, at least we're happy. And at the same time, my mum didn't know nothing about this industry, so we've had to teach her everything. So
that's lovely that she's
and there's another thing about the industry as well. You could be hired to do like a film or a TV show, but it's not always going to be used. Sometimes they don't use it. So some people don't understand about it. So if we was to say to a friend, oh, we're going to be on this or this show, sometimes they might not use it.
You guys have quite a thick skin, because you are going to sometimes get rejected for things, but you just got to keep going. But it was so lovely speaking to both of you, and I know you guys are going to do really well, and all the best for the future. Thanks so much for speaking to us. Okay, so that was the lovely twins here. And do stay tuned, because after the break, I'll be answering a question from a viewer, and I also have Rihanna back with me to talk about some more news. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. So I'd like to answer a question from a viewer before we finish with the news with Rihanna. And this viewer is saying, hi Chrissy, I'm at the end of my rope. My 15-year-old is pregnant. I know there is nothing I can do, but I feel like such a failure. I did my best to raise her well, but I think she just got pregnant to seek attention or to be happy. She's adamant that she's keeping it. How do you cope with something like this? What would you do? Now, so I don't have your name here, but I know it's not an ideal situation, but I don't think you should think you're the worst parent in the world because this has happened, because a lot of parents, you know, they do their best. Could you have maybe spent more time with her? Perhaps yes, but it doesn't mean that, you know, it was your fault that any of this happened, because, you know, youngsters get influenced a lot nowadays. What I would do, if I were you, first of all, forgive her and forgive yourself, and sit down and explain the difficulties that will come along with being such a young mum. And actually, she's going to need, if she's adamant about keeping the child, obviously it's her choice to do that. I think she's going to need a lot of support, and who best to give it to her than yourself. So maybe if things haven't been great between you, now is your chance to actually really maybe get closer to her and really help her out. And I think also, I think you should sit down with her and express how the situation is making you feel. But I wouldn't, you know, think that everything is lost, because, you know, she still has a future ahead of her. Plenty of, you know, young mums are doing really well with their lives now. You can even, later on, she can even go back to education. So it's not that all is lost, but I would say use this situation that's unfortunate. You weren't expecting it, but you can still make the best out of it by even getting closer to your daughter. And you say that, you know, she might have done this to get attention, to seek attention. So this is your chance now to give her that, maybe that attention that she's been craving for. So I do wish you both all the best, and I'm sure, you know, if you keep a positive attitude, everything's going to work out for the best. Rihanna. Oh, and by the way, if you want to ask a question, if there's something that you're going through and you'd like to know what I would do in your situation, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. Rihanna.
Hi.
You have another news item for us before we go?
Yes, it's something that I don't really understand, this whole conscious uncoupling. Now, I'm just trying to make it make sense in my head, but it doesn't. When Gwyneth Paltrow decided to separate from her husband of 10 years, it wasn't the, okay, we're getting a divorce thing. It was kind of, we love each other very much, and because we do, we're gonna kind of go on a break, if I can put it that way. And it's kind of taking on as though it's, you know, it's okay to just go along with. The reason why I don't understand it personally is because if you love someone so much, why would you want to be separated from them? That is what's kind of...
But what's this uncoupling thing that they're going through? Because I read this as well. I didn't really get it. So what is uncoupling? Do you know what it's about?
No idea. I really don't have a clue what it is. I think they're trying to, how can I put this? They're trying to say, okay, we're not married anymore, but we're okay with being by each other's side. We're just not going to get a divorce. I don't even think that makes sense, but...
Well, my opinion, I think people just give up too easily nowadays.
They
and like
fight for it.
Exactly. I think it's very easy for like couples just to kind of part, and people aren't sort of, not many people want to get married anymore, because it's like they're already kind of thinking, oh, what's the point, because we're only going to get divorced.
Yeah.
It's not like a lifetime commitment anymore. And I think that's really, really sad.
It is.
Because like, for example, my parents were together for 44 years. My dad he died last month from cancer, for the viewers that don't know. And she was with him, they were together from age, she was 16 when they met. No, when they got married, sorry, she got pregnant at 16 actually, got married at 17.
Yeah.
And they were together for 44 years. And like, yes, they had their ups and downs, and sometimes we used to see them arguing, but they always sort of stuck with it, and they just kept going. And like, obviously now that he's passed away, my mum's really having a hard time, which she can't imagine sort of ever marrying someone else, but obviously because it's still quite raw. But it's like that I could see even in sort of her parents as well, just that married for years and years and years, and they just work through things. They don't sort of say, okay, first problem, let's have a divorce. They actually make an effort, they get the help that they need, and they let some things just have to let go of as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about marriage. I'm not married yet. But I know I will be, yay! But I see like these couples, they're like really, really old, walking down the street, holding hands, and I'm like, wow, how did they make it? They must have gone through so many things, but they didn't see like the worst in everything. They probably thought, okay, right, I don't like you right now, but I still love you, so we're gonna get through this. It's like, the older generation, they have this thing about fighting for love. And in today's century, we always sing songs about, yeah, I'm going to fight for this love. But at the first sight of, ooh, no, I don't want to deal with it, let's separate. It's almost like we've become the weaker generation. We need to look up to the older generation and have those values reinstalled.
Exactly.
See, the older generation are great, and that's why we love them.
But I had terrible problems with my boyfriend before, and but I can understand, look, because for example, though we loved each other, we really used to argue a lot, and it was like sometimes like I love him, but I really don't like him right now, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And the same with him, he used to get really fed up with me as well. But it's like we knew there was a problem and that it could be sorted out at the end of the day. I know people that looked at us would think, God, that couple hasn't got a chance. But we got help in the end, and we worked through the issues. It was like we both had to learn to work on ourselves, not to keep, because all we were doing was like pointing the finger at each other and blaming the other one and not listening to what each other had to say. As soon as we got counselling, we started to work on ourselves. The whole relationship changed.
It's like a package, isn't it? Work on me to make us better.
Yeah.
Ooh, that should be a new slogan for something. Don't know.
That is quite good. Should we tweet it?
Yeah.
Let's tweet it after the show. Yeah, we can Instagram
Work
it.
on me to make us better. And it works for everything, you know, sisters, friends, because you have to work on yourself. I mean, if I didn't work on myself, how could me and my sister be great today?
Exactly. And on that note, I think we'll leave it because I think it's the perfect ending to the show. All right, so Rihanna, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And guys at home, if you want more information about any of our guests tonight or anything about the show, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv. And if you'd like to email me, maybe you have your own success story that you'd like to come on the sofa and talk about, or if you'd like some advice or information, you can also email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. It's been lovely being here with you today. And Rihanna, do you want to say goodbye?
Shout out to my mum and my sister.
I didn't ask you to do a shout, I just told you to say goodbye. All right, bye everyone.
Love you lots.
See you. See you next time. I have really bad nightmares about clowns when I was younger.
Children don't like clowns.
He always used to appear at the windows and stuff like that. I'm thinking, why is this clown chasing me all the time?
Was it a dream, you said?
Yes, it was a dream.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, there wasn't a clown chasing me. I don't think we're going to have a serious show today.
It's the balloons.
Should I get rid of the balloons? Are they distracting you?
No.
I think we might get the giggles. Okay. No, but I think that's scary. They should arrest him.
I know. No, so he is.
Okay. When they see him, they should arrest him.
Take the balloons away. Okay.
Should we go to the hospital, right? Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. I don't want this. All right, okay. Serious. I think we should. Yeah, have you got another news article? Then we can go to the Love Squad.
Yeah, but I think we should go to Love School first.
Yes. Let's just take a look at this video, okay? Video, please.
People I knew were going, and it was just amazing, Chris. The things that I learned were just amazing. Open your card now. Open your card, please.
I'll open my card. Do you know what? I went out today and I asked for a green tea, and I don't know what they put in my tea. I had a different tea, but it wasn't what I thought. Okay. Oh, this is nice. I can't read out all this. And Bianca said, open your birthday card on the show, and then it's just way too much. Oh, thank you guys. It's way too much to read on the show right now.